thank you all for being here. I think that networking and curiosity is the key for success in this digitalization or this digital transformation. And I work for ABB. How many of you have collaborated or had any interaction with ABB the last, let's say, 6 months? 2 years? A few more, all right. So half of you. It's good. I've been in working with business for the last 8 years or so with this kind of predictive analytics. As we are delivering this to process industry. So I'm very flattered to be here to talk about my experiences there. I'm rather nervous about it because I'm rather used to talking about our solutions and what we can offer, but here I'm gonna try to give you some hints of what I think is a good idea, some enablers to get this digital transformation journey a bit faster. You know, from our perspective, it's kind of a race. And I call this presentation "Why the Algorithm is Not Yet the Problem." So here I'm going to start by, so what I do is that I manage something that is called Collaborative Operations Center. It's a center in this particular one is in Västerås. We have 20 of these collaborative operation centers that we open globally, where we collaborate with our customers on their data, basically. What we're trying to do is that we're bringing in data or information into these centers, and we help our customers to make better decisions, to make them more profitable or productive. So here to the left is Cecilia from LR Energy. They are constantly pushing us to do better, and we are trying to do the same for them. So therefore, they were there in March to cut the ribbon, opening this collaborative operation center in Västerås. In the middle is Johan. This is our CEO from Sweden. Maybe some of you met him. And on to the right, we have our master student doing his thesis at our center there, looking at how we, from a systems thinking perspective, how can we offer the market, the Swedish industry, basically, or the world industry, a good service portfolio. Very interesting topics there. And this is Magnus and Magnus. We call them double Magnus when they're standing together like this. And this is how our environment looks like when we are working. So we're normally sitting there looking at KPIs from our customer plants, and these guys are very talented in different technologies. Here, Magnus to the left is a mining specialist. Here, Magnus to the right is very good at control systems. So, and what they are doing is to kind of supporting, we have this support system tools that gives us KPIs and early warnings, so to speak, and we are trying to predict what's going to happen, what is the best measures to take to make our customers more profitable. And this is a center where you are all welcome to sit together with us and discuss the situation at your plant. And why are we doing this? Why are we opening this center? Here is a study that we did together with McKinsey, and it shows kind of the level of digitalization in different business areas. And to the right here, with high level of digitalization, as you see, is information technology and media, finance. But here in the knee of the S-curve, so to speak, is all the typical ABB branches where we deliver our services to. So these process industries. So what we are expecting for the near future is a dramatic increase in the level of digitalization, whatever that means. I'll give you some examples. What I would like to do here is that I would like to give you some short examples of what we are doing. And from my experience, with supporting our customers on this journey, I would like to give you some hints of what I think is the enablers. So if you look at the consumers market, this is how it looked in the 90s. I guess since you are here, you are very well aware of this transformation, but this is a good mindset. So here in the 90s, this is how the world looked, all these cool gadgets you could hold them and walk around. And now we all carry a phone in our pocket that has all these cool gadgets inside of them. We can use them. So these can be considered as cool gadgets, but they can also be considered as tools. So for example, if you would you come home from work and you want to watch a movie, then back in the days, you went to a local store, you asked a random dude what he thinks is a good movie, and then you picked that out and you came home. And nowadays you have an app, maybe Netflix, that's been there for a while, that looks at data. It looks at what you've been watching before, what you like, what others people that are similar, like-minded as you like, and then it gives a recommendation that is tailored for you. And the interesting thing here is not the application as such or the solution, is that the consumer market, when your Netflix is delivering, has all movies there to see. And all the other providers also do have all the movies there. But what you're buying from Netflix is that application, that intelligence, and we expect nothing less. When we come home from work and we want to choose a movie, then we expect nothing less than our tools to give us a good recommendation. And this is a mindset that has been established, a culture that has been established when we come home from work. And this kind of mindset we're trying to bring in to the industry where we belong. So here on the left side is a picture of from a mine up in the north of Sweden. So this is a big crusher that crushes stone. It's kind of a core application for this customer. And this is monitored from Switzerland, where we have our R&D and our key competence in this kind of applications. They are gathering data continuously from this. We have developed tools that are helping to predict the status of this. And those guys in Switzerland, they are not using VR goggles, but they could. It's the mindset that I would like to show you. So where is ABB in this kind of digital transformation? A super interesting thing is that ABB has the biggest installed base in the world of IoT devices. We have more than 70 million connected devices. Suck that in for a bit. We have more than 70,000 DCS systems, SCADA, or what you call them, control systems. 70,000 DCS systems, which makes us the biggest supplier in the world when it comes to DCS systems. And we have, so here is a picture of a typical customer. And in Sweden, for example, it's a good example. We have more than 1,000 service contracts only in Sweden, where we continuously help our customers to improve their productivity. And this we do by service contracts. And this is, we have done that for a very long time, so we know this very well, and we know how to interact well with our customers when it comes to these things. The service contracts it's not always about advanced diagnostics or so. It could be just that if ABB product or a system collapses, fails, then they would like to call somebody, or that we come and do checks once per year. We have this kind of more standard service products, right? But we also have more than 200 digital services, as we define them, digital services. And these are services that we are packaged from the shelf you can buy that actually takes the smartness from these, from our products and our systems, and converts that into value to the customer. Concrete recommendations on what to do. So we have more than 200 of those services that you can buy off the shelf. For example, if you have an 800XA system, a control system from ABB, then you can buy a predictive maintenance for that. Simple. And if that's not enough, sometimes it's not enough with the built-in smartness from the product. Maybe it's not about the product. Maybe you have to add the data into that whole story. Then nowadays it's possible to gather data from whatever data source in the world and put that in some sort of application that transforms it to KPIs or notifications that we can act upon. So we call that, our solution for that is ABB Ability Cloud, which is based on Azure. I'm going to give you 2 examples of what we're doing in this digital transformation before I get into the juicy parts. So here is a picture of an elevator, basically. So this is an elevator called mine hoist. So it's used in mining industry. This is kind of the heart of the mine. So if you have an underground mine, then you need to get the rocks up to surface so you can crush them and do something with them. And we are delivering the whole system for that. So there's motors, there are power distribution, there's drives, there's control system, there's security system and breakage system, and the mechanical parts of that. So all of that is a big system, and the whole idea is to bring rocks up safely and really quickly. And we have around 700 of these systems installed globally. And for example, we have what we are delivering from Västerås, actually, where it's developed also from this COC that I'm managing, is a service that gathers data from all these different products, all the drives, all the control system and everything, and it brings KPIs that we can act upon. The customer sees them, we see them in our collaborative operations center, and we can act upon them, call the customer and say, you know what, the conveyor belt is going too slowly. Why is that? Can we dig into that? I'm connecting and fixing the problem, or whatever problem it is. This service as such, if you have a mine hoist from ABBs, then if you buy this service, it adds between 5 and 10% productivity to your mine. 5 to 10% productivity to the mine. That's quite astonishing. Another really interesting example is rather new. We did last year together with Gränges. And Gränges is an old company, metal industry here in Sweden. They're doing some sort of aluminium foil, you could say, that is used for heat exchangers. And the surface of that defines the quality of the end product. Right? And they are the biggest in every 2 cars in the world. The heat exchangers come from this company, and they've been doing this for quite some while, at least 50 years. And they've continuously been in the forefront of technology, always pushing us as ABB, as suppliers of technology, and being in the forefront, you know. And the staff working there has been there for generations, basically. ABB has a system called Stressometer. It's like a surface control system that helps them control or make a nice surface on their end product. You know? And we've been developing this product for more than 50 years. We have pushed in millions and millions and millions into these systems to make them as good as possible. for 50 years. And we are the world leaders in this technology. We have 1,100 of these systems installed worldwide. So now we got together, how much would you expect you can do on the development of those systems? Huh? Rather little. But we went together and we just checked out whether we can use AI in this system, and we increased the performance by 40%. So AI, what I'm wanting to say is AI is real, it's here, it makes a huge impact in our industry. Huge impact. But the problem is not there. The technical solutions are there. Everything is there. There's nothing holding us back but other things. And this is what I want to talk about. So this is how we delivered it. This is from my personal perspective, who worked with this for quite a while. So this is how we used to deliver our services. Here's to the left. When I started at ABB, then my first week, I held a presentation of how good this product was. And this is an advanced analytics tool that we were selling to customers. It was a bag with hardware inside, and it was very important with hardware because software you couldn't sell. So, and it was also put into a bag with industry standard bag for whatever reason, right? And this is what we sold as a product, because there was difficulties selling anything else but products. It didn't match in the systems. You know? So we were selling a product for the customer to have as a tool, and then we sold some hours of schooling for that person to learn how to use the tools and how to read the answers from them. But this didn't really work because people tend to change job, right? So normally they were used for a year or two, had a good result or two, and then they were never used anymore, which is interesting, you know? So we said instead, let's skip that idea and we give this tool to our guys instead. And you can just rent a guy who comes once per year or twice, once per month or whatever it is, and does some sort of analytics. I'm not saying that something is right or wrong here. All these, depending on what we're talking about here, we are in many different technologies and many different levels of technology. So, but this is how I see our evolution. So here, step number 2 was basically that we create an expert who comes to you. He looks at your equipment, he does the analysis, and he hands over a analysis, a report. So the customer is actually buying a report. Normally it's like 400 pages with a lot of cryptical data saying that here, sir, here are your problems. See you. Or we try to, but what we saw from that is basically, I mean, it works. Putting the data on the table is very important, but what do you do with it next? Huh? And here comes the collaborative part to the right here. So this is what we're trying to, I don't know if that picture describes it, but what we're trying to do is basically to, we think that we need to gather people all across borders, from different disciplines and so on, to talk to each other about this data and what to do about it. And maybe we shouldn't give a report of 400 pages. Maybe we should just, out of all these problems, here is one that we think is the most important for you. And we're using the best tools that we have to identify these problems, and we also verified it with our best experts in this exact domain. So what do you think about that? And then we have something to talk about, and we fix that little problem before we go into next one. The interesting thing here is that from start to finish in this evolution, the algorithm is the same. The smartness hasn't changed anything in our products. and nobody ever questioned the quality of our analytics. And I hope that with this mindset of collaborating, we can get a little bit further, where we actually get to a point where we start questioning, is this information that we're getting, is it accurate enough? If we had more data or looked at it in another way, could we predict it better? To do so, then here's an excellent, I think this is actually an excellent summary of a very interesting paper that was written. I think that digital transformation, when we talk about digital transformation, it's a lot about a technical transformation. That we're gonna use all this AI and all these cool buzzwords. But it is so. This is very important, and that like-minded meet like this and develop these skills. But it's just as much as digital transformation is a technical transformation, it is also an organizational transformation that is needed. And I see that to scale up, because this is what we're doing, we have a lot of examples when we did business all over the world or in different industries or so, where we actually succeeded. But to scale up this process and to scale up, to make this standard, so to speak, to use these modern technologies, then we need to think a little bit differently when it comes to how we manage our organizations. And what I think is most important are these hierarchies that we are often working with, which are defined here that should more be developed into network thinking, you know. So I give you an example of this. If you have if you do predictive analytics on a control system, normally it's an automation engineer who is responsible for the control system. But when we do analytics on that, maybe we see that, you know what, there's a server that is filling up here for some reason. Somebody has done something, so this service is filling up. And this may cause a big problem for the whole plant. So somebody has to do something with the server, maybe go in there and delete data. But that's maybe not the automation engineer's scope, you know? Maybe that's on IT. And then everybody scratches his head and, you know, the automation guy can't tell the IT guy what to do because he works for with other things. And this is just one simple thing that we meet every day. And it's still difficult, right, to move across the silos here and just say that, you know, I need your guy for 2 hours to fix this. This is actually a challenge, and it's ridiculous. And if we go even further, let's say what Mälar Energi did was basically that somebody sat there, you know, they have a power heating plant, you know, for heat distribution in Västerås. So normally you have a plant and you have an input with a temperature, and then you have an output with another temperature, and then you heat according to what you want to have as an output. And so and then you try to optimize this process. And what somebody said there at Mälar Energi was, you know what if we get the data from the user? A specific guy sitting at home, he wants to have a certain temperature, right? If we know that, and then we can control our process according to that, then that changes our whole business model, doesn't it? You know? Instead of selling the idea of heating Västerås, we sell the service of, you know, 24 degrees or 22 degrees or so. And they reached out, and actually in that point, you can just imagine how many disciplines are involved in that. Huh? Then it's not 2 anymore. It's the whole company needs to be involved in this. But they actually said, yeah, let's try that out. And we came in and we helped them out, and now we have a platform that visualizes the demand on each household in whole Westeros, and we can control their heating plant according to that. Isn't that fantastic? So with this in mind, I would like to, I think this from my own experience, that networks, I think, is this kind of network thinking is the key to success. And I would like you to give my personal 4 bullet points that I think are key for success here. The first one is you decide what is best to do. What I mean by that is we also have to challenge the management here a bit. You know, if a person just knows what the target is of his work, of his organization, of his company, you know, then he knows what is best to do. So stop managing so much. Just if somebody wants to do something, you know, then probably he thought about it a lot and let him or her do it. You know, less management, I think, is a key for things. You know, if we're telling people what to do, they can't do something great. They're gonna tell you what you told them to do. Another thing is to have fun. That's a bit blurry, maybe, but I think there are quite a few. I mean, we are many people here now, but there's in total there's quite a few people who actually finds it interesting to challenge their own organization and make better, you know. So if you find somebody who actually wants to do something to challenge himself or herself to do better and reach better goals, then just let them do that, because they will find that so much more fun, and the rest of the job, you know, will anyway be done somehow. So let people do what they think is fun and take off the burden. If it's necessary for somebody, if they say, you know, I would like to try out something, it needs, I don't know how long it takes. Is it 5 days or 10 days, or I'd like to try it out? Yeah, give them the chance. Take away their burden of administrational work or mail conversations or whatever they are doing, and give them time to do that and have fun and elaborate. I think that's important. And to try it instead of saying no or what if, just say try it. You know? If you have an idea, I know I've been in so many places, I met so many customers, and there are so many ideas and thoughts. If you just say digitalization when you're in a room of engineers, so many things come up, you know. And just say try it, you know. Let's try out something small. And today we know very, very little about the future. Very, very little. We just have an idea that this digitalization will create so much. So I think that the absolute best way to speed up this process is to bring understanding to the table, you know? To explain to each other what we mean and what we can do. So this term, just show me, I think that's a beautiful thing. You know? What is it that we can do? Just show it. Make a simple example, visualize data, do something and show it to me, and then we can talk further. I think these are a mindset and a culture that will bring all this development further much, much faster. Thank you very much for your time.